This presentation is going to cover approaches to answering some of the toughest and also most common interview questions. To get started, it's important to understand the purpose of an interview. Employers are trying to determine if you are a good fit for both the position and the company. They want to ensure not only that you have the skills and experience necessary to excel in the job, but also that your personality is going to be a good match for the role as well as for the organization. When preparing for an interview, it's important to keep a few things in mind. First, unless you are being asked a technical question, there are no correct answers. While some answers may be stronger than others, don't feel as though there's one specific answer the employer is looking for. Second, make sure that you are providing the employer with answers that demonstrate your skills and strengths, and avoid answers that will make the employer doubt your abilities or commitment. Your job in an interview is to convince the employer that you have what it takes to succeed, so make sure to focus on what you do have, not on what you don't have. Lastly, you should be attempting to determine if the employer and the position are going to be a good fit for you. It's much better to realize that a certain position or company is not a good match beforehand, rather than after you've started the job. Now we are going to cover some of the most common interview questions. A very common question that often challenges students is "tell me about yourself." The tricky part about this question is that it is extremely broad, so people often feel unsure about what it is the employer wants to know. To know how best to approach this question, I recommend starting by asking yourself the following. If the entire interview consisted only of this question, what essential information would I share? What do I want to make sure the employer knows about me? And what aspects of my education and experience are most important for this position? Answering these questions for yourself should help you begin to identify what information is most important for you to communicate to employers. Your answer should serve as a brief summary of your education, experience, and skills, and it can include personal information such as hobbies if they are interesting and relevant to the position. For example, if you are applying for a job with a company that operates internationally and you have done a great deal of international travel, it might be valuable to share that one of your hobbies is traveling to foreign countries. The good thing about "tell me about yourself" being such a broad question is that you can answer it in whatever manner you think helps you to stand out most as a candidate. Another common interview question is "why do you want to work here?" To answer this question, it's important that you are knowledgeable about the organization to which you are applying. Try to find something that makes the company unique, whether it's the population they serve, a special training program they offer employees, or a cause that both you and the company value, such as protecting the environment. Be sure to review the company's website so that you can get a feel for what they're all about. Also, if the organization you are interviewing with has been in the news lately, you may want to reference this to show that you are up to date with current events and that you are invested in the organization. Ultimately, you want to leave the employer feeling as though you are knowledgeable about the company and that you genuinely want to work there. One of the most challenging interview questions for many people is "what is your biggest weakness?" When answering this question, you do want to talk about a relevant area that you could improve in, but you want to be careful not to share something that may make the employer doubt your ability to do the job effectively. Be sure to avoid cliché answers such as "I'm a perfectionist" or "I'm too dedicated to my work," because these types of answers don't seem very genuine. You also want to avoid answers that reference lasting personality traits, because those are very difficult to change. If you're someone who is disorganized or who gets easily overwhelmed in high-pressure situations, for example, those may simply be aspects of your personality, and it's uncertain if those are areas in which you will be able to improve. You also want to be sure to avoid sharing anything that is a direct requirement for the job. If the job description says that you must be proficient in Adobe Illustrator, you wouldn't want to use Illustrator as a weakness. Instead, you want to focus your answer on something that is easy to change. Talk about a skill that you would like to develop or improve in, and focus on how you have already begun to improve. Employers aren't just looking for what you're bad at. They're looking to see how you're able to overcome challenges. Here are a few examples of how you can effectively communicate a weakness. I would like to improve my proficiency with Excel. I have had the opportunity to use Excel in my accounting courses, but I think that using this software in a work setting with real-world applications would help me to develop an even greater understanding of it. An area of growth for me would be my familiarity with the nonprofit environment. My previous experience has been with for-profit organizations, and I'm excited about the opportunity to develop a greater understanding of the structure of a nonprofit. I'm confident that my existing knowledge of the mission of your organization and my willingness to learn will help me acclimate quickly. And lastly, I am sometimes shy about sharing my opinions with others. However, I have had the opportunity to work on a number of group projects in my upper division classes, and I'm growing more comfortable speaking up when I have an idea. I'm excited at the opportunity to continue developing my communication and leadership skills in this internship. Notice that each of these examples briefly mentions the weakness, but then immediately moves on to talk about strategies for overcoming it. Another question you should prepare for is, where do you see yourself in 5 years? It's okay if you don't know the exact answer yet, but you do want to demonstrate that you are motivated and have career goals. You can talk about the type of position you see yourself in, the populations you see yourself working with, additional responsibilities you would like to have, or skills you would like to develop. If you are interviewing for a job, be sure to avoid topics that indicate you are likely to leave the company, such as going to work for another organization or leaving to attend graduate school full-time. You also want to avoid personal topics like wanting to travel or start a family. Why should we hire you is another question you are likely to be asked in an interview. It may be helpful to try reframing the question as, how are you qualified for this job? Because your answer should focus on the unique skills and experience you would bring to the position. Think about what it is that sets you apart from other candidates and focus your answer around that. Maybe it's your knowledge of a specific software system that makes you qualified for the job, or maybe it's the fact that you're bilingual. Just be sure to present a compelling argument for why you're the right fit for the job. You also want to prepare for behavior-based interview questions, which typically start with, "Tell me about a time when." With these questions, employers are asking you to provide them with a specific example. An effective way to organize your answers to behavioral questions is to use the STAR method. The S in STAR stands for situation, and the T stands for task, so you're basically providing the context for the story. The A stands for action, and this is where you want to focus on the action that you as an individual took to resolve whatever the situation was. The R is for result, and this is the outcome of the situation. Let's look at an example that uses the STAR method. If you were asked about a time when you had to deal with an uncooperative group member, a strong answer could sound something like this. In my business communications class, we were assigned a group research project. One of the group members was often late to our group meetings or missed them altogether. This was causing resentment in the group, and we were struggling to stay on schedule. I spoke to this group member individually, and I said I'd noticed that she'd been having a difficult time making it to our group meetings. I asked her if everything was okay, and she said that her car had been totaled and that she now has to take 3 buses to get to campus for our meetings. I recommended that we talk with the other group members and see if we could meet closer to this group member's house. The rest of the group agreed to meet at a different location, and everyone was able to make it to the remainder of our meetings. We completed the project on time and earned an A. What makes this a strong answer is that the example used demonstrates effective problem-solving abilities, empathy, and excellent people skills on the part of the interviewee. Also, the majority of the answer focuses on the action and result portions, which are the most valuable aspects to employers. Be sure that when you are preparing for an interview, you are also thinking of questions that you want to ask the employer. It's important to ask questions at the end of an interview to show that you are engaged and interested in the position. Reflect on what information you need to make an informed decision about this opportunity. To get you started, some questions you may want to consider are: how would you describe your company culture? What is the natural career progression for employees with my skill set? What qualities do you think someone needs to excel in this position? And what is the next step in the interview process?